hi. I'm picking some fresh chard for Francesco. He's making a recipe today, something healthy. We've had too much chocolate and food this weekend. It's Easter Monday, so we need something healthy. This is actually my chard from last year, so I'm very impressed at how well it's doing. It's still going strong.
Can I have a little bit more? You'll be mean.
Oh yeah, I'm being a bit mean. Yeah, well, yeah, I can be. What do you want, 2 handfuls?
Yes, please.
If I can get it. I could probably done with some scissors, but never mind.
Yeah, I've got a very healthy meal idea in mind, and I'll be cooking that next.
Lovely. I'm actually doing a small update on the La Vita Variety channel in my vegetable patch, which is why I'm here at the moment anyway. So you can catch up on that if you look up here. There you go. All ready for later.
Thank you.
Because
You're going to kill them.
Well, I'm not. It's not so much that, my love. I'm saving some, but they're in the wrong place, aren't they? There's actually a potato under there, look.
Oh, at least we can eat that one.
Well, it depends really how old it is. Let's have a look.
Oh, look, more than one.
Potatoes for tea. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Enjoy.
Lovely. Thank you.
Do you want your chard?
Yes, please. And time to cook a very, very healthy dinner after the very naughty Easter. So here are my potatoes. I was going to actually use some purchased potatoes, but even better, bonus. So here's the chard. You do not have to use chard, by the way, if you do not have access to chard. This is Swiss chard. You can also use kale or spinach, or any green leafy large leaf vegetables would be fine. Also, additionally to this, I'll show you the other ingredients. I've got here a red pepper and a white onion, or red onion if you like, 1 carrot, a stick of celery. I will be using some garlic and some plum fresh tomatoes. That is pretty much the extent of the vegetables. I will also be using some spices, but I'll tell you what they are as and when I use them. And also I will be using a little orzo pasta. I'll show you what it looks like so that you've got an idea. And here it looks a bit like rice, but obviously it's pasta. I'll put that here. And I will also be complementing the meal with some Scotch broth mix. Again, I'll show you what that is. I better put my glasses on so that I can tell you what is in it. And I'll read you first. Where is it? Why do they write things so small? I don't think they want you to know what is inside. Okay, here ingredients. So we've got barley and yellow split peas, green split peas, blue peas, and red split lentils. So all sorts of good stuff in there. And I will not be using a lot, but I'll just show you what it looks like. There, a mixture. So whatever you can find. You can also use just lentils or peas, whatever you like. But this is what I'll be using today. So I'll go and wash and peel all of my vegetables, and I'll be with you next. Hopefully I've not bored you to death with my chopping and peeling of vegetables. It's a little bit of a difficult balance because some people do not like seeing vegetables being chopped, and I understand that. But in certain recipes I like to show you the size of the vegetables that I'm going to be cooking, because clearly it's important. So hopefully I've done this relatively quickly. So having chopped all of my vegetables, I'll start with making a little soffritto. So here's a clove of garlic, and this time this one I'll crush it using my knife. My oil is still relatively cold, so I can add it in. Keep the temperature medium high, not maximum, as garlic will easily burn if you're not careful. And can you see it's already sizzling? So as soon as it starts sizzling, I'll add my chopped onion and celery, and also my carrots. Immediately followed by my chopped pepper. And I will immediately place the lid on, and I'll leave them to soften up for about 4 to 5 minutes. So once the vegetables are softened up initially, I can add the greens, the chard in my case. And I've chopped it up already, as you've seen, and I'll place it on top. And this will cook for about 5 minutes. Again, I'll place the lid back on, and it will shrink considerably. And actually, before I do that, I forgot, I need to add a little drizzle of white wine vinegar, just a little. A teaspoon, and put the lid on, and leave it for 5 minutes until the chard or the greens you're using will have reduced. So see you in 5. Earlier I also mentioned that I will be using some fresh tomatoes, which I'm now halving. These are plum tomatoes. You can also use cherry tomatoes or any fresh tomatoes that you can find in the supermarket. If you do not have access to fresh tomatoes, by all means use tinned tomatoes. That's fine also as a second choice if you like. And while I wait, I'll show you my little cocktail of spices, and I'll start with a small teaspoon. These are not normal teaspoons, they are very small. Teaspoon of paprika. This is smoked paprika, but you can also use sweet paprika or any paprika you like. Followed by a similar amount in turmeric. I cannot put a spoon inside my little jar, so I'm just doing like this. So again, do not go mad with those quantities as they could be overpowering. Followed by a little cumin, but again I'm gonna be choosing a very small amount. See, not a lot at all. And now is my cocktail of spices ready. And by now my chard will have reduced drastically. If you look, it's about a third of what it was before. So the next ingredient is going to be a bay leaf. I'll put it in now before I forget. Followed by my cocktail of spices. This is also when I'm going to be adding my Scotch broth mix. This is 100 grams in weight. And my chopped potatoes, they weigh 200 grams by the way, in case you wonder. And the last ingredient I will be adding for now, before the pasta, which will go in later, is my chopped tomatoes. I've boiled the kettle and I'm filling now the pot with hot water until I reach the very, very top, just like this. Pinch of salt, and of course also a little pepper. I've turned the temperature on maximum as I want it to boil relatively quickly, but as soon as it starts boiling, place the lid on and turn it down onto a simmering point. Mine is a number 4 out of 9 if you got a gas hob on minimum, and I will leave it to gently cook now for about 35 to 40 minutes. The most important thing is that the Scotch broth cooks, but I'll check it then and then we can add the pasta later. So I'll see you in a little while. So I tested the Scotch broth after 35 minutes and it was nearly ready. So I left it on for another 5 minutes. So 40 minutes altogether. But you will have to establish and you'll have to taste it yourself. But let's have another look now. So I'll just pick a little and let's see if it's done. Yeah. So do not put the pasta in until your Scotch broth is cooked. And if you look also, the level of my water has gone down slightly, which is great. So these are 100 grams of orzo pasta. By the way, I should say you can stop now. You do not have to add the pasta as you got potatoes and it's quite rich in carbohydrates. But this particular pasta, I really love it because it releases lots of starches and it will make the whole thing nice and creamy. So if you don't mind it, just add it in. That will make a big difference. But you can also leave it as it is. But once again, I turn the temperature up and I'll turn it down as it is boiling already very quickly. And I'll place the lid on. And this pasta needs 10 to 12 minutes to cook. I'm going to leave it covered for 8 minutes. And I'll show you later a little trick what to do for the last few minutes. Nearly there. This is fresh parsley from our garden, but also if you don't have access to parsley, you can use basil. That's also very good. I'm just chopping in little pieces, but I'll leave a little bit for later for garnish and this one for the next stage. So the pasta has been cooking for 8 minutes as planned. I'll turn it off and I'll remove it from the hob and I'll move it over here. Still not fully cooked, that is intentional, but I'll show you what I do next. I'm going to add the parsley first. I'll top it up with some olive oil. I'll give everything a good mix so that the oil and the parsley are blended with all of my beautiful soup and pasta. And I'll put the lid on and I will leave it now for 4 minutes and that will be my 12 minutes. And I'll finish cooking its own heat and the flavor from the parsley will absolutely, can I use the word contaminate, Julie?
Maybe not.
Well, you know what I mean. The flavor from the parsley will absolutely go everywhere and the oil and it will be ready. So I'll see you in about 3 to 4 minutes. And time is up, and the very last ingredient which I highly recommend is to add some grated Italian cheese, either pecorino or parmesan. This is Parmigiano Reggiano parmesan. But definitely adds a beautiful flavor to the final dish. This morning, by the way, when we got up, Julie said to me, oh, we've been too naughty, we should actually have something vegetarian for dinner tonight.
We have eaten a lot of food, to be fair, over Easter, and a lot of cake and a lot of chocolate.
So I said, yeah, I'm up for it. I'll do a vegetarian dish, I said, and she said, I'll go some chard in the garden you see in the beginning of this video. So then she took Gabriella, our daughter, to the train station as she's gone back to Manchester. And before she left, she said, by the way, can you hide all of the remaining Easter eggs so that I don't find them and then I will not eat them? Of course, yes, I said, no problem at all. So earlier I went and called her if she wanted to come and film me. And she said, where are the Easter eggs? It didn't last even 3 hours, the whole thing.
Well, I don't know what to say. I just had this urge for chocolate.
Yes,
and it is vegetarian after all. So
of course it is, yes. So anyway, I've given a little Easter egg, but I'm going to be hanging on to the rest. So I've been a good boy because I've stuck to my vegetarian dish, and I'm going to taste it now, and I'm sure it'll be lovely and delicious. It's very hot though. Oh God.
It smells lovely.
It's wonderful. Really rustic. And you can taste all the spices and it's delicious. Honestly, the Scotch broth I added with a little pasta made it very creamy. Absolutely wonderful. Try and see what you think. And let me know. Arrivederci, grazie, and buon appetito as always. Ciao.